Hello friends, I am with a gorgeous actress, Sonika Chopra.
Hi.
She is an actress, model, author, Mrs. Asia 2019,
Right.
anchor, what else? Happiness coach,
Happiness coach,
life coach,
speaker, meditation expert, beagle owner,
oh,
lockdown survivor. To start with, yes.
So Sonika, I want to know some glimpses about your journey in life, how you became an actress, from actress, how you went in this path of happiness.
Right.
I just can you tell our viewers something?
I haven't yet told you about my path before, the acting bit. I was also a junior copywriter.
Oh.
I became one of the youngest creative directors in advertising in a very big agency. And the next day I quit to follow my childhood dream of becoming an actor. So I did that, and I was part of web series, television, movies. I've been in theatre, lots of ad campaigns. I've enjoyed the whole process.
Okay.
And I was then guided to start a company called The Happy Path, through which I conducted happiness workshops. I know it's a concept ahead of its time, but I think 5 years from now, having happiness managers and happiness CEOs and happiness officers will be a norm.
Okay.
So then you look back and say, oh, Sonika started this in 2018.
Okay.
So through this, The Happy Path, I've conducted workshops in about 5 countries. I've counseled more than 500 people. I've done more than 75 workshops. I've authored a book during the lockdown called Top Mind Secrets to Having a Good Working Life. I got over my paranoia of dogs by actually
NLP technique?
no technique, just the sheer determination to get over my fear.
Okay.
And I adopted a beagle dog. I call him Happy.
Okay. Happy to hear that.
Yeah. So, and then of course my acting is something that I believe, although people call it a glamorous profession, I believe it's a soul job for me. When I'm in front of a camera like I am right now, I forget who else is around. I just get into a zone, like how meditators get into a zone. I forget who I am as a person. I'm completely the character. I'm steeped into it. Whether that character has 2 lines or 200, it doesn't matter. For me, what matters is to connect with the audience through this little, thing called the camera. I believe that I don't put too much effort into it because God has gifted me with something. I hope to keep exploring this talent of mine, and I also hope to help other people who want to do so. So via my Insta profile, I try sometimes to show, behind the scenes working of actors or actors having a life outside of just the glamorous sets, because I think people need to get a clearer idea and a more real picture of what it is to be part of Bollywood, because everybody thinks it's just glamour and the good life. It is also waking up at 6 a.m. and working from 7 a.m. to 2 a.m. and then getting back on a set again at 6 a.m.
With the same freshness.
With the same freshness,
right. And
working like that for weeks sometimes. People don't understand that, they don't realize that. They don't also know that everybody judges you. If you're in front of the camera, you're like a product. Everybody has an opinion on you. Everybody
True.
has a judgment on you.
True.
And if you don't love yourself, and if you don't appreciate yourself, if you don't value yourself, if you don't understand that you have this talent, then you are going to get sucked into that criticism. And at the same time, if you believe that God has given you something that you are meant to explore, then that judgment and criticism will be like water off a duck's back.
Okay.
So I hope to be an even better actor with every assignment that I do. And I also hope to show the behind-the-scenes working of an actor's life.
Okay. So it looks, what I understand from your conversation is that actually you're living your soul purpose, if I can say that.
Yes, absolutely.
So did you always know that you were going to become an actress, like when you were small?
Yes.
You
I
had
knew
this.
that, but it took me a long while to get to that, to execute that. Because, when we were kids, being an actress was not something that was seen as aspirational. Today, people say, wow. But, when I was a child, actress, nahin. It's not something that girls from good families do. So I had to fight a lot of societal judgment and therefore my own judgment of what I do. Until like I become so clear now, I believe it's a talent given by God, and I would be doing God a disservice if I don't explore this talent that He has given me. So now, like you said correctly, absolutely bang on. It's my sole purpose. But it took me a long time to get to this place.
So basically, your childhood, which place were you? Where did you spend your
Oh,
childhood?
I've had an interesting life. I grew up in Vizag, Visakhapatnam.
Yeah.
My father worked for Vijay Mallya's father in good times when
Okay.
you know when UB was seen as a great company. My parents both belonged to Himachal Pradesh, Dharamsala, so we had a lovely summer house to go to.
Okay.
My dada's house, Chacha's house, my father's ancestral village and stuff. So we had a very interesting summer home to go back to. I had a lot of family, my mom's side in Delhi.
Okay.
So we were exposed to a lot up north
Okay.
while we lived in the south. So we had a very interesting mix.
So Himachal Pradesh is known for its beauty. So we have one more beauty of Himachal Pradesh here.
You know, I've not seen my mom. That's why you're saying that. I'm not
Then I must
even
meet her.
attached. My pleasure, with pleasure entirely.
Okay. Now see, people, they always think that happiness is a destination to be reached. But what I understand is happiness is in the journey, not the destination.
Yeah, and before you get on the journey, I think it's a decision.
Decision. You
I
have to
just
decide.
want to be, I decide to be happy.
For no reason whatsoever.
Yeah, life is never going to be perfect. People are never going to be perfect. I myself am never going to be perfect. So happiness is just a decision.
Right.
That good, bad, ugly, I'm going to like myself. Good, bad, ugly, I'm going to like my life. Good, bad, ugly, I'm going to be grateful for everything that I'm going through. And once you start any journey with a decision to be grateful and happy, then I think you just become very strong in dealing with anything that life has to offer.
So basically, you have to be in the flow with the universe, what the universe offers, and whatever correction or whatever tweaking you have to make, you make that and still flow with the universe.
Yeah, but also at the same time, I feel that, people make them out to be very big words. Like I think till 5 years back, I didn't know what being in the flow meant. It just means that when you are slapped, you take that slap nicely with a smile. When you are given a bouquet, you take that bouquet with the same smile. When you are down on your knees, you still take that life, accepting it. So being in the flow for me, it just means surrendering and accepting it more than anything
So
else.
what I understand is, we are mostly live in the destination addiction.
Yeah.
That means, when I finish my college, I'll be happy. When I get married, I'll be happy. When I have children, I'll be happy. When my children grow up, I'll be happy. But then you keep on postponing happiness. You don't
So then
in that segment.
also then we are at the mercy of that.
Right.
We are at the mercy of the spouse.
Yeah, in the moment that thing gets over, then you look for something else.
Yeah.
Right, that's it.
That's right.
So can you tell our viewers, because we are going through a different times right now, because of the obvious situation, in how they can maintain their sanity and remain happy in these times?
To me, it's a very simple answer. Acceptance.
Acceptance.
Acceptance. I mean, I can't change the situation. If I accept that I can't change the situation, having accepted it, what is it that I can do? I've accepted that pandemic is keeping me at home. Having understood that I am going to be home 20 days, 25 days, 27 days in the month, what can I still do? So I asked myself a lot of these questions last year, and I ended up writing a book. I ended up adopting a beagle. I ended up, getting over paranoia. I ended up playing a lot of indoor games. I ended up starting yoga. I ended up learning 11 different types of cuisine. So I think that fight, that resistance happens till such time that we come to a space of acceptance. ठीक है यार, अभी हालत खराब है, अब accept कर लो, अब क्या करें? Once we accept, then we get into the space of what now. But most of the time we spend, too much time in getting to that space of acceptance.
Correct.
So we don't come up with plans, and therefore acceptance में पहुंचने से पहले ही हम
Because we're living in denial mode, basically, sometimes. Correct.
denial, anger, irritation, discomfort, resistance, fighting, disappointment, sometimes grief, depression, all that. But acceptance is not excitement, happiness, joy and all.
Correct.
Acceptance is not even grief, anger, depression. Acceptance is just a neutral level.
Right. So being in the present moment, the way it is, as it is,
Yes.
right?
And not questioning.
Correct.
नहीं change कर सकता.
Yes.
I can't change my spouse, I can't change my life situation, I can't change the circumstances. Then what?
So, I'm very happy that I'm meeting people like her during this challenging times, so-called challenging times, also they have made the best of it. And you have learned, as you said, you overcome your paranoia.
Yeah, but I find it very important to also add that I'm not always like this. 365 days of
Because we are
lockdown,
human
I
beings
have
after
not
all.
been like
Right.
this, So people think, oh, if you're a positive person, you'll always be smiling and laughing and being on top of things and accepting. No. I have had days when I've completely broken down, crying, and I say, boss, nahi ho raha hai handle. But I believe that's also important. When things become too much to handle, it's important to cry. Why do people undervalue crying so much? Why is there so much of hee-haw about crying? You're feeling pain. You cry and you let it all out. And then you pick yourself up, whether you're one piece or you're several pieces, you pick yourself up and say, okay, this is life. And then you move on. So, I don't believe there are positive people and negative people. I believe that there are people who have positive experiences, positive mindset, negative mindset. And the most positive people on the planet can be negative at times.
Correct.
And the most negative people on the
good.
planet can be grateful at times.
True.
So that's, I don't believe there are black people and white people. There are people who break down and there are the same people who also get up.
True.
So I've been both. I've not just been, the happiness.
Yes, everybody has to go through all the challenges of life.
So the lockdown
it all depends on how you respond to it.
Exactly. So lockdown made me bring up all my awareness and knowledge about the happy path and put it into execution in my life.
True.
अब तू test करेंगे तेरे को. Everything that you have been teaching others, now we're going to test you. Are you going to pass?
Right. I also believe that, I heard that, you conduct seminars and workshops, offline, online.
Yeah.
So can you tell our viewers more about it?
I think I did more than 30 webinars last year. I was invited to about 25 interviews online.
What is the webinar about? What do you teach?
So the webinar is about, it's like a happiness workshop. So whether it's half an hour, 45 minutes or 2 hours or 3 hours, the best I've done is about 5.5 hours. So it's, it's not gyan and philosophy that, oh, you should be positive. It is simple things like I said. When you're feeling pain, cry and melt down and let yourself, completely break down. And then you pick yourself up. So I give very practical tips. There's no gyan, no, you should go to the Himalayas and find your peace. No. You should find your peace in your heart and your soul in the middle of the chaos. When I'm on a set, there are 50 people, there are 100 things going wrong. Everybody is screaming, everybody is shouting, nothing is in place. We are way behind schedule. And still, in that moment, I can find peace. So peace doesn't need a particular environment. It needs an intention.
True.
So, things like this I talk about in my workshop. And I say with guarantee, these things, I'm going to tell you 10 techniques. Pick up one. But apply it in your life for 3 weeks. 3 weeks, you start changing an NLP.
The programming of your subconscious
and
mind.
60 days, you start changing a habit completely. If you take one technique and use it for 60 days, I can guarantee you in writing, something in your life will shift. Yes. And that's what I share in my workshops.
So what I believe is, happiness is not something which you achieve. Happiness is something you have to tune into. You tune into happiness. It's like a butterfly, The more you chase it, it keeps on eluding you. But the moment you just sit down quietly, it will come and alight on your shoulder.
It's also an art which can be learned.
True.
People think that you're born
like
happy, you're born unhappy. But I think it's a skill.
Skill. Right.
It's a skill that can be developed with time and practice.
Correct.
And that's not something people tell us. So you have this interview on record. 5 years later, look back.
Can you give any one message or any tip to our audience before we end up with this conversation? Any one single tip which can use?
I think it's important to understand your value. You could be a rickshawala, you could be a CEO, you could be a housewife, you could be a teenager, with acne and overweight and unhappy. I think there is no person on the planet who is completely useless. So it's and before somebody else acknowledges our value, it's important that we acknowledge. If everybody on the planet says that I'm the worst actress, I don't mind. I want to know what I think. True. If I look at myself on screen and I see a particular scene and I feel that I could not have done a better job, to my mind, I'm a good actress. Or vice versa. If 100 people say, oh, what great acting, But if I look at that and I say, I could have done better, then, I feel there's place for improvement. But having said that, I believe that we need to have our own value clear. Because when we start respecting and valuing ourselves, then other people will do the same.
Sure, sure. So I think we have got amazing insights from this gorgeous lady.
I can talk endlessly, as you can see, which is what I do while I'm anchoring shows. That's my job. I get paid to talk.
Can you tell our friends who are watching this about your book also?
Yeah, so the book was actually a surprise to me also.
So it was channeled like?
I know. No, I mean, I just had thought about doing it for a long, long time. But you know how things are. One day I will write a book. So that never happens. But the lockdown made me think, what am I going to do to keep myself busy and sane? So I actually wrote a very quick, short book. But I find it very effective because I have applied those techniques myself. It's called Top Mind Secrets to Having a Good Working Day. It's mostly for people who I was conducting my happiness workshops for. So mostly employees, people who work in big companies. I genuinely believe that some of the most miserable people on the planet are the ones who work in corporate offices. Bolne ko, they have a very good tag, this designation, that salary, this logo, this whatever. But I believe that, doing a job repeatedly, day in and day out, a job that doesn't give you mental and soul satisfaction, it's very important. Like, even if 5% of your job gives you soul satisfaction, the rest of the 95% is worth it. But I feel that, 99% of the people don't have a job that gives them at least some sort of satisfaction. It pays the bills, which is important. So you can't get away. So this book is for those miserable souls who find it so difficult to get through every single day. I find so many cases of depression and suicidal tendencies. People hate their bosses, they hate their jobs, they hate going to work, they hate working from home. So I give very simple techniques in this book about mind secrets. You can't change your job, you can't change your boss, you can't walk out. You resign from one place, you'll get another job which is miserable in other ways, So it's important to change your mind and have a new perspective. When you have a different perspective, then the same thing looks different.
Okay.
So
Great.
The book is about simple techniques to change your working life.
If somebody wants to contact you, some viewer wants to contact you for your workshop.
You can follow me on Instagram, Sonika Chopra. I'm at. You can follow me on Instagram. I'm Sonika Chopra at Supersonics 2020. SUPAHSONIX 2020, I think.
And you can contact me also, rafiqpirani.co.in, RAFIQUEPIRANI, rafiqpirani.co.in. Also multiverse.co.in, MULTIVERRS.
I'm going to follow you right away. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. Thank you.